Sounds like a James Bond movie.
It is.
Oh! That sounds really familiar. You know?
Just saw the last one.
How was it?
I'll let you know during the show.
Cold Fever is now live.
You're lying.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was like, that's not possible.
It was impossible.
We're live, by the way. You're up.
I heard. Oh, hey, hello, everybody. I did not know you didn't do the thing.
I did. I pointed. I did point.
I wasn't paying attention then. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 36 of the Last Place Fire Team Show. My name is Yendi. I'm your host for today. We have a special guest, Ligma, later on in the show. We're going to have to wait for them to come. But today, what we're going to be talking about is the legend of Arceus not being open world, battlefield development troubles, and 3 games you would take with you offline to play forever. So, as you just heard, it's going to be a pretty short show, most likely. So, this might be the first ever sub 45-minute show, possibly. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how long these topics go for. But before we get into those, let me introduce you to my 2 other co-hosts. We have Alan Street Victory over here. Alan, how's it going?
That's me. It's going. I'm going good. You know, I've played a little bit of Far Cry 6, and I've been enjoying every second of it. It is, I will say this, it is a lot of the older stuff, but that's not bad. Like, it's a new world. It's a fictional Cuba. So, like, having that and just, you know, one of the characters' goal is to go to Miami, and just knowing a little bit about Cuban culture and stuff, I can relate to the game. Growing up in Miami, kind of getting that little pieces that I know of it. So I've been enjoying the world. It's been really good. Guapo is amazing. If you guys don't know who that is,
The alligator?
a little pet alligator you get, and he is fantastic. So
I saw a video with him all dressed up, and
yes,
I thought it was
you
hilarious.
can get him different costumes. It is awesome. He is one of the great characters to walk around with. So I've been enjoying it. I'm hoping to beat it before the month is over, because I got it from Ubisoft Play. So I don't, $14.99.
Playing
you
the
get to
system
play.
here.
Hey, listen, it's available.
If it works, right?
It's legal.
So-
and what do you want me to do?
2 questions. One, is the world better than the setting from Far Cry 5, which was Montana? Yeah.
Yes. This game is a lot more colorful. It is
The
not
map is
as
huge.
The map is pretty. You can travel by boat in this one, so it is pretty. It's a pretty vast world. You have like a little island area where you're kind of like your major hut, your major area is, and then you actually have to go onto the land of a different island, which is then split into 3 separate, I guess not storylines, but 3 separate like people you have to tackle, kind of like all the Far Cries, where different areas give you different things like resources and stuff like that. So it is pretty big, and then you got the main area where the Castillo is, which is the main villain, and it's Giancarlo Esposito, who's amazing. So you, as soon as he's on screen, you're just like, man, this guy's great. Like, that's exactly how you feel every time you see him. Every time you see him, he's just in a role, and you're just like, man, this guy is really just an amazing actor. So it translates very well in this game too.
Nice. And then my second question was, when you was it Ubisoft? What is
Connect.
that you doing?
It's called
Connect.
Ubisoft Connect or Plus.
So you'll start it and then cancel it.
So what
and
you
then
can do
start it again.
So here's the thing. The game it's actually really good. So if you guys don't know, Ubisoft Connect is essentially Ubisoft's version of Game Pass. And you can play all of Ubisoft's exclusives day one, right? So you pay the $14.99, and if you have Stadia or Amazon Luna, you can actually add the service to those. And you can play it, you can actually stream those games off of those like as long as you have Ubisoft Connect. So if you wanted to, you can literally just stream Far Cry 6 without downloading it and play it straight off the stream. And as long as you're paying your membership, you have your file, and your file stays even if you cancel it by next month. So if I don't beat it within a month and I decide to cancel it anyway, and I decide to play it month 3, it's still going to be there because it saves to the cloud. So it's actually an amazing feature, and you can cancel anytime. That's what they said. So I'm planning on beating it before I have to pay $14.99 again. And if I don't, I mean, even if I paid $28 for a $60 game, still not bad. So
right, yeah,
that's how I look at it.
Okay, and yeah, gotta play the system there a little bit then.
Just a little bit.
Okay. Well, what about you, Chris?
Bond.
Oh, yeah. Tell us a little bit about it. And I know you're probably gonna talk about debrief, right?
No, I don't think Chris watched it.
But, no, I'm gonna go through all of the. I want to go through all the other ones again.
Yeah, so
you're gonna watch all the Bonds movies.
Watch
this new one.
All the Daniel.
He's gonna watch all
the
Daniel Craig ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I watched Bond. It was great. I don't want to say too much because but it was amazing. It was a really good movie. Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond. I don't care what anybody says. He's the best Bond in my opinion. And this was a nice, this was his last one. It was a nice movie. It was great. I enjoyed every second of it. And then so thank you for your time, Daniel Craig.
All right, Chris, what about you? How you been? What have you been watching, playing?
Been all right, man. I've been playing Metroid Dread. A lot of it.
Oh,
a lot
you
of
got
it. Yeah, I did get it, and I don't regret it at all. I am really addicted to it. The other day I was actually playing New World, and then I couldn't stop thinking about Metroid, and I went played Metroid on the TV. So
good.
Yeah, it's a good game. Kind of. I think why it has me hooked is because since it's a 2D game. It's not like I don't have the open world, so I'm not like overwhelmed. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I have one mission and I'm just kind of going through it, and I've been having a lot of fun. It's really good. It's hard. I'm glad it's a challenging game. They stuck to its roots, but it's really good. I highly recommend. Wait till it goes on sale. I didn't know it was gonna be that much, but just wait till it goes
on sale.
Yeah, it's $60.
A Nintendo game doesn't go on sale.
Well, yeah, it's a Metroid game. It's not gonna go on sale. I mean, if you have $60 and you like Metroid, definitely go for it. This is my actual first Metroid. I've watched many. I haven't played a lot of them. I played the one on 3DS, but I can't remember it too much. So yeah, but I enjoy this one. Don't give me that look, man. Don't give me that look.
Metroid.
Yeah, I tried to get the one for game.
I've never played any.
I tried to get them for GameCube whenever I finally got a GameCube, but they're like hundreds of dollars. So yeah, so I gotta find them.
First Metroid, guys.
I've never played any. Period.
Oh
so, my God. At least he's starting somewhere.
I mean, I've played like bits and pieces of it, but I only knew like going side to side. I never actually played the full on like beginning to end story.
Metroid.
But I've watched a lot of people play it.
What about TV shows? What have you been watching?
Squid Game. I watched Squid Game. I joined the bus, fan bus. What do they call it?
The wagon?
The wagon. Bandwagon. There it is.
That one?
Yeah, that one. That word. Enjoyed it. I actually
you finished it all?
Yes, in one night.
Don't say anything, because I actually am watching it myself as well.
Whoa!
6.
So now I have to watch it.
So we can do a debrief it. Are you watching?
I'll get on it.
Whoa. Are you watching it in English?
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Andy's watching it in English.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, me and Anna are watching it, and she can't stand subtitles. I can't stand subtitles.
Understandable.
So
right.
it's just fine.
Yeah.
What else?
That show, like I said, I was actually supposed to stream New World that night, right? I think I got off with you, and I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna stream some other game. Or no, Alan Wake. I was supposed to start Alan Wake. I've been playing that also. Love it. I'm on I'll be streaming chapter 3 and 4 this week. I'm going in 2 chapters a week, up until Halloween. Right? It is really good. Very surprising. Well, not very surprising. I've heard so many good things about it. It's making me want to play, or actually like go through and finish Control, because I never finished that game. and it reminds me
Second
of
DLC to Control is the
yeah. So I'm definitely gonna go through and try to get to that point and play that DLC. But yeah, for Squid Game, I was supposed to stream that. Ended up watching the first episode, and I was like, oh, I think I can squeeze another episode in. And then fast forward to 2 a.m. and I'm on the last episode.
Dang, how many are there?
There's 9, but the last 2 episodes are 30 minutes, and that saved my life. As soon as I saw 30, I was like, I can do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm almost done.
Yeah. So what do you think of it so far? Like, does it have you hooked?
You know what? Yes, it does. That definitely has both of us hooked. So the thing that got me right away in any show or movie that does this automatically gets me too is when they have like a father-daughter connection, because I feel that obviously, and I just felt like just instantly attached to Sung. What's his name? Sung Gyu.
Yeah.
So and I love his character. I love how goofy he is and how positive he can be and stuff like that. All the characters are unique. I love everything that I've seen so far. The games are really, really cool. The whole I want to find out what's going on, who the VIPs are, and stuff like that. I just got to episode 6. I don't want to say too much if Alan's gonna watch it, but
I haven't watched any of it. So
I am completely intrigued. I want to know what the next games are. I want to know. There's a lot to know that I can't wait to find out as I watch. But yes, I'm completely hooked, and I can't wait to go. I was hoping to watch it tonight, but we have the show. So yes, So I've been watching that, and then aside from that, I'm playing New World, and actually, I think that's about the only game I played. I think I tried Call of Duty once for a few games with Ryan.
Wow,
but
surprising.
Yeah, that didn't go too well.
Apex's Halloween thing went up, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so I got to be playing that this week. I have a lot of days off this week, so I plan on finishing. I have to take a break from Metroid because it is part of the whole reason why I got it was because of the Deepest Dive. I always talk about this. I'm a big Min-Max fan. And I love the Deepest Dive because it gets me to go through the games and I get to listen to a podcast about it. So I had to beat the 4th Emmy, and then they said to stop there. So I'm stopping there until the podcast comes out, and then I'll finish the rest of the game. So until then, yeah, I'm going to play Alan Wake. I've also been playing FIFA, still on that grind. And finishing Outer Worlds. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, a nice little list there.
Yeah, I'm playing through a lot, and then I also got Trover Saves the Universe on the Oculus because it was on sale, and I finally get to play that game. So I've been excited.
Good game. I played it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Very, very ocular.
I saw the free DLC, and there was like some TikTok that I saw. And this guy's going into a birdhouse, and he's like, "Hey," you hear the voice, and he's like, "Hey, get out of there!" And the tree's yelling at him. But I don't know if it's like, do you know if the game reacts to your voice?
Yendi never played it.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
You got bamboozled.
I know, because I thought in this game, like you don't need an Oculus to play it. You can play it on Steam and use a controller.
Oh, I didn't know.
So I was just like, oh, okay, my bad. All right, well, never mind.
To answer your question, yes.
Okay, cool. That's going to be it, guys. Thank you so much for watching episode 36 of The Last Play.
Got you live, baby. Okay, so what if you do timestamps before we move on?
Yeah.
So,
what was the time of that? So I can...
about 13 minutes. 12 to 14. There you go.
Gotcha.
Oh, boy.
All right, so we're going to go ahead on to our first story. One of 3. This is Pokemon Legends. Arceus isn't fully open world, confirms the Pokemon Company. And this is from Hope Bellingham over at Games Radar. Pokemon Legends Arceus isn't fully open world. The Pokemon Company has confirmed following a fan discovery. Following reports that Pokemon Legends Arceus may not be fully open world, it might instead just have open world areas. The Pokemon Company has since confirmed that this is actually the case in a statement to Kotaku. The statement reads, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, Jubilife Village will serve as the base for surveying missions. After receiving an assignment or a request and preparing for the next excursion, players will set out from the village to study one of the various open areas of the Hisui region. After they finish the survey work, players will need to return once more to prepare for their next task. We look forward to sharing more information about exploring the Hisui region soon. The key terms in the statement seem to be one of the various open world areas of the Hisui region and Jubilife Village will serve as a base, which pretty much confirms one fan's previous theory about Pokemon Legends Arceus having segmented open areas, like in Monster Hunter and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Pokemon expert and creator of Pokemon website Cerebi.net, Joe Merrick, was the one who originally pointed out that this could be a possibility after seeing screenshots of Pokemon Legend Arceus maps next week. They gotta do something with that name. Cut it down. PLA. Yeah. They have since put out another tweet discussing what one of the seemingly 5 open areas contains, focusing exclusively on the Obsidian Fieldlands. So yeah, dang. It appears that Pokemon Legend of Arceus is not open world, which I'm kind of surprised about because all the videos that we've seen so far, sure have made it seem they have made it seem like it's fully open world, and that to me, it almost feels like false advertisement in a way. But now that they've actually said it, I guess it's fine. So my question to you guys is, and we'll start with Chris. Does this change your mind about the game at all?
No, it actually makes more sense to me that it's not going to be fully open world. That's for like if it was going to be fully open world, I don't think we would. Excuse me, I don't think we would get it as soon as we are. Whenever I first thought it was going to be fully open world, I thought it was going to be like a late 2022 game or early 2023. But it makes sense that it's easier for them to follow this formula since they did it with Sword and Shield, right? Is the first game that we got into the open areas.
They introduced the wild area, yeah, which was which I predicted was going to be what they did with Arceus,
which is what there appears to be. Yeah, what they're basically doing now. So it makes sense. Like it'll be hopefully if this game does well, they work their way towards an open world one. Baby steps. I'm glad they're not fully jumping on into it because it could. I feel like that's going to be hard for this company to follow something so that they've been doing for years. If we look at it, they've always taken small steps to try to innovate something. They've never done a full leap to a new thing. So yeah, it doesn't change my mind about it. I'm still gonna play it. Like it still looks really cool. I just hope it doesn't feel like if I enter that area and it feels exactly like Sword and Shield, then it's not like then the whole thing was a lie. You know what I mean? It's not. You have no. There's no meat in the in that open world area or that small little area for you to explore, villages or anything like that. Then I'm gonna be like, well, then it's literally another Sword and Shield. So, yeah.
So you say that they haven't made a jump that big before, but they did it with Breath of the Wild. They went from a non-open world Zelda to a straight up open world Skyrim style game.
Yeah, but that's a different company.
What are you talking about?
Isn't game?
It's still
not Nintendo.
It's still under Nintendo.
Yeah, it's still under Nintendo, but Game Freak, right? Themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like that has a certain. I feel like they're on a different scale than everybody else. I feel like they follow the same formula. I assume Nintendo goes up. It's like, hey, do you think we can do an open world? And it's like, hey, we can try. But I feel like they're nervous about it. Like they don't want to fully jump on into it. So I feel like this is the first steps. I feel like this is going to be the first steps into getting to the open world. Like I feel like we'll get there eventually if this does well.
Yeah. So with that, then if they don't go open world right away, then my next question to you, Chris, is if the areas are segmented and they've had enough time to work on this, why do the graphics look so shitty when compared to something like Breath of the Wild? Game Freak being a first-party Nintendo studio.
Yeah.
So they have all the resources.
I feel like they're limited to the Switch. The Breath of the Wild looks great, but if you play on Switch, like Breath of the Wild, at times when you play it, you get the feeling that like it was too good for Switch. Like you get that feeling. Like you drop frames. I feel like it should have been. I mean, it had like Switch graphics, I guess you could say, but the way it felt at times, I was just like, man, the Switch needs to is not able to keep up with this thing. So it'll probably feel the same way for this project also whenever it comes out. I feel like there's going to be a lot of drop frames and everything like that because we unfortunately did not get the Switch Pro like everybody was hoping, and there's nothing to help boost the Switch to be able to do this. Also, on a side note, I saw the OLED people are finally picking that up, and they're actually enjoying it. It looks cool. Still not worth buying one if you already have a Switch, but it looked cool. It looked nice, but anyway, yeah.
Going back to that, a counter argument to what you said, shouldn't a world that's segmented look better than an open world in that case?
It should. It should, but I feel like I don't know. Do you guys feel like Pokemon has more elements than Breath of the Wild, like look-wise?
If you look at both the games, the art styles are very, very similar, right?
Yeah, but whenever whenever you're in Breath of the Wild, right? If I walk past the Lionel, like his hair, flows like a little bit. There's not much to him. Whereas in Pokemon, like if I have Charizard, that tail needs to be going a little bit. You know what I mean? Like the Pokemon have more on them to animate. So I don't know if that's gonna take more power to do. That's the only issue. Because in Breath of the Wild, the times that I dropped frames and everything like that is if I jumped off a mountain, paraglided, and as soon as I try to do like Link's move or something like that with the Sheikah Slate, that's when the frames would drop because it was just like, oh well, now we got to render all this like animation to go into this spot. So in that game, there was a lot more trees and stuff like that. Whenever you got attacked or bombs went off, it looked cartoonish more than like they did a different kind of I almost said animated style. On top of that, I forgot what that's called. It's like a 2D layered. I almost felt that way.
Shading?
Yeah. So I feel like with Pokemon, it's gonna be a little bit harder for them, and like I said, it's all up to Game Freak. I need to start doing more research on that company because I feel like they are Nintendo, right? Nintendo has them, but at the same time, I feel like they're just on the side. Like, hey, we're partnered with you, but don't come over here. Like, don't touch our stuff.
No, Game Freak is pretty in there.
In there? Okay.
If they needed resources from Nintendo, they would have got them. Be like, okay, hey Nintendo, we need resources.
Here's the thing, though. The Pokemon franchise is a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar franchise. There is no excuse financially for a company like Nintendo and Game Freak, who owns the IP. Nintendo owns the IP, to put out what I think looks like a subpar version of a Pokemon game that Breath of the Wild just blows out of the water. And yes, I do agree with you, Chris, saying that there were times when I was playing Breath of the Wild that it just seemed like the Switch was gonna blow up on me.
Yeah, it felt like it just should not be on it.
Yeah. But they still pulled it off, and they still made it look way, way better. And I don't think Nintendo has any excuses, or I should say Game Freak has any excuses at this point for this game to look this bad when it's not a fully open world that needs to be rendered at all times. If it's a segmented area, you should have all the graphics optimized in my eyes, and I don't see why they're struggling with this. And the game's only a few months away.
Yeah, another thing too is to argue my thing was I'm looking at Super Smash, and Super Smash actually runs very well. I don't think there's any problems there, and that has a lot going on in that game. So you're right. There probably isn't no excuse. Like there really is no excuse, especially with Breath of the Wild 2 from. Well, no, we haven't seen much gameplay from it, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm thinking of all the Super Smash, like the final smashes, everything that goes on that screen. Everything looks smooth from whenever you knock somebody off of the stage and you see the smoke following them on the way out. To items being used consistently and everything just being piled onto the screen. So I don't know.
Because it's a centralized area where everything happens. Yeah, I think so. So they can afford to put all the graphical assets right there on the
That's
screen
weird.
and put a bunch of
And all
Yeah,
the
they-
Switch
they
needs
also-
to be beefed up. Like the Switch needs an upgrade. That's it.
They also have
Uh,
Smash Brothers has movements in the back too, which kind of but Smash is also designed to not drop frames, like
Yeah.
because it is a fighting game. So like dropping frames in a fighting game is like no one would play the game if that.
And
happened,
Sakurai
'cause
sitting there, I'd be
you just
damned if
can't.
this thing failed on me.
Yeah,
and
you
then,
just can't do it.
I'll
then
come out with
finally,
my own
Chris,
system. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Will you still buy it? Will you still buy the game? Does this change your mind at all?
No, it doesn't change my mind. I'm gonna
No?
try it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it. I know I'm going into it with the thought of like, this is what the Switch can do. I'm a little bit worried about my Switch because I got my Switch day one, so we'll see what happens. So
Mine's pretty old too.
yeah, but I mean, if it's able, I still play. I booted up Breath of the Wild not too long ago, and still love it. Still can play. I get annoyed, like the frame dropped, so the viewers understand. The frame drop in Breath of the Wild isn't consistent. It happened every once in a while, so it wasn't enough to make me upset. It was just like when it happened, I was just like, well, okay.
Oh, that reminds me. Before we go on to our first story, let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. Make sure you check out our latest YouTube.
You might as well have just saved it to the end at this
I
point.
know, right? All right, Alan, what's up? So, what do you think? What do you think about all this BS that Game Freak is trying to pull on us?
I mean, I agree. I feel a little cheated just because of the fact that they took all of that credit and all of that. You're finally doing an open world Pokemon to do. Oh, by the way, it's not actually open world. We're kind of lied. Like, so I do feel a little jaded by that because it's like, come on, like what if that's the case, if you can't make it open world, which is what everyone wanted, just delay the game. I don't know, like we're having this, I don't know, we're in this world now. We were just talking about this before, the thing where people just don't want to delay games and then they want to fix it after.
I think they want to try to fill in that space of all the games that are delayed. They're like, well,
Yeah.
we have a window right now to get this out
But
before
that
the big hitters
has
come out.
never proven to work.
It
It usually
doesn't matter.
decreases your audience, like, because again, it's like I always say, if you release a bad game, people are going to feel a certain way about that game when it comes out, and then when you try to finally fix it, people don't come back to the game. Like, you have that small window of getting people hype and excited to play their game, and then there's so many other games out there where people will just play something else if your game comes out like trash. It's just, that's what happens. So now that people, because you know what's going to happen, a lot of people who don't actually know better already heard that this game's going to be open world. Then they're going to get the game, they're going to play it, and then they're going to realize it's not open world, and then they're going to feel jaded even after the game told you, by the way, it's not an open world game, because a lot of people don't access media or read these news articles like we do. Like, you know what I mean? We're like, I'm not saying we're like a small percentage of like a majority of the target audience, you know what I mean, that actually goes out and looks for the research on some of this stuff. So yeah, it's out there, but I can guarantee you their next Nintendo Direct, they won't say it's not open world. They're not going to say it is open world, but they're not going to say it's not. So like, they're going to still err on the side of, hey, this is open world until you see the article that says it's not. You know what I mean? And the chances of you seeing that article is way more slim than you seeing the next Nintendo Direct. So for me, it's a shady move in that sense. And I feel like if that was the case, like during production, it should have just been like, look, we can't make a fully open. Let's put this ahead of the audience. Let's let the audience know, or just be like, listen, guys, we want to give you guys an open world experience, so we're going to delay it another year. I know it sucks. I know that's not what you guys want, but also we've got a Pokemon game coming out in November. So play that until next year. And I'm sure a lot of people would have been fine with that.
Yeah, Black Magic. Oh my God, Black Magic made a point and says, I don't know, a game like Pokemon, Horizon, God of War, they know it. It does not matter if they delay it because people are going to buy it regardless. So
it's the truth. It's just, there's no reason for the game. Like, again, the time slot that you're even reaching for at that point, like, you are kind of bumping into your other Pokemon game that's coming out. So there's no real rush to get it out in January, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And even though there might be some numbers like that to crunch it, but again, if this game is bad, people are not going to trust Pokemon to be able to make a so-called open world game. And then that's going to be your problem for your next game. Because then you're going to need the audience to actually feel encouraged to buy the next one and then tell everyone else, oh, by the way, it's actually a good open world game. So it changes my opinion because now it changes my expectation. Like I'm not expecting a full world, and then my expectation becomes just like Yendi. Well, if that's the case, if you're not fully open world, then why does the game look the way it does currently? Like, because Monster Hunter, which is my argument, is my counter argument, has a ton of animations where you're fighting like these big monsters, your weapons are doing all this stuff. Like it has all like colors everywhere. You have 4 characters online, which Monster Hunter Rise is like, and it has like even from day one, it's a lot better. It's even from day one didn't have crazy frame drops or anything like that, and now it's even better than it was. So to see that game look the way it does, and then Pokemon having pretty much smaller creatures, and what's the likelihood of you actually having something as big as the monsters are in Monster Hunter World in that game, because they're not going to be that big. So I don't know. I think the graphics should be better because if you're doing a faux open world and you're just doing it to where it is like Monster Hunter, where you go to these areas and then that area is open, then the world itself should look better, in my opinion.
And you never had any like frame issues or anything like that with
Nope.
Monster Hunter? Oh, okay.
And it worked online, which is a lot to say because a lot of Monster Hunters didn't work well when they first came out. And this one actually was online. You didn't lag. You didn't do any of that stuff. So it was actually impressive that it even worked the way it did on the Switch. That's not saying like it didn't have like some issues. It did have some issues, but it wasn't anything that was worse than I dealt with before on better consoles. So I don't know. I feel like there's really no excuse for it, and I feel like they did that. They are using the Pokemon name to their advantage, to where they're like, well, it's a Pokemon game, people are going to buy it. And I feel like that you can only do that so many times. People are like, you know what? I'm not going to get this one, or I'm not going to get this next one. And if this one's not as good as I expected it to be, then I'm not going to get the following one. And that's how you start to diminish your audience.
Yeah. And then Black Magic says, but what if they're pushing it for it to come out because there will be a limited edition Switch with it or something? Typical Nintendo. I would not be the least bit surprised if they did that. But
there probably are. But again, it's not like even if you delay it and you put it, let's say it comes out in December of next year, right? Instead of January of 2022, and it comes out December of 2022. Do you think the people who were going to buy it in January 22, are not going to buy it in December? Like, they're still going to buy it. You're just not going to have the money in the beginning of the year, which, I mean, if that's what you want it for, then I guess I can understand that from a marketing standpoint. But again, if that game fails, then your next game, regardless, is not going to do as well because people are just not going to trust the title. And we've already seen declines in Pokemon games. So people are going back and wanting the older games because the games have been as good. So
exactly,
we've already seen that trend. So so for it to be like, well, they want to push it out, it's like, well, this hasn't worked for you in probably the last 5 Pokemon titles. So I don't know.
Do you think I
feel like it's a bad move?
Do you think they consider this like one of the side Pokemon games? Like it's not actually like one of the main ones? Like
it's totally main.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So before this news that I read yesterday or whenever it was, I was excited. I was getting hyped a little bit for the game because I just imagined myself paragliding or flying just around the world, even if it was bare, right? Even if it was bare, I still didn't get trapped by borders that I can't. Yeah, right. So I was slowly getting myself over that stuff, and then when I saw this, the only thing I could think of, are those eyes on Chris. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I got eyes right here, and then those green ones right there, and then the purple one right over here.
Now they're gonna be like, oh,
yeah, they're eyes, guys.
Yeah. So as soon as I saw this article here, the only thing I could think of from now on is I'm just going through different sets of wild areas, which I did not like at all. from Sword and Shield. I thought the wild areas were incredibly bare. They were boring. They were a drag to get through just to get to the other side. And this is all I imagine Legend of Arceus to be now. And it just sucks because I, they might have different biomes and everything, but I don't know if that's even going to make it any better because just from what we saw, it still looks super bare, right? And since there's going to be so many of the same Pokemon in the same area,
I still have not seen that stream at all. I only know that first E3 one where we're like, this looks like ass.
No, they had another one that was
yeah, no, the last direct, and you guys told me about the two Pokemon.
The frame rates were a little bit better. A little bit better, but the graphics still, there's just, I'm sorry, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for the way it looks. There's no excuse for how bland everything is, and it just doesn't look or feel like a Pokemon game.
And then also, if they're taking the Monster Hunter approach, like, what is the goal of the game? Like, you know what I mean? Because if those areas are something that you just go to get certain Pokemon or whatever the case, or get to certain gyms, like, what is my goal in the game? Like, you know what I mean? I don't really understand.
Yeah, we don't know anything.
Like,
of that
you know what
yet.
I mean? Like, and if you're gonna do that, how many side missions are? What is the goal? Which is what I really like. I want to see a breakdown of this game. Like, what am I actually doing?
What I gathered from the last video that they showed us, we're probably gonna have boss Pokemon in each different region that we go to, and that'll probably be one of the things we have to do as far as the main quest. Go there, defeat the they call them the noble Pokemon. Which are super powered. It goes into like a Dark Souls style battle, which it's cool. It looks really cool. You'll probably need to capture it. But the biggest draw for Pokemon for me, besides the training and the competitive side, is the gyms. I like going to the gyms. Like having to train my Pokemon or try different types to go and get the badge, and then eventually go to the Elite Four. So if gyms and Elite Four are not there, that's like a core element of Pokemon that hooked me from the beginning that won't be there anymore. So then I feel like Pokemon is losing its identity because I hated the whatever the hell they were called in Sun and Moon. It wasn't the typical gyms. I forgot what they were called. We had to go through like this place. We had to fight. I don't know. It was like a different take on a gym, but it wasn't the.
I don't think I played Sun and Moon.
Yeah, it was just
Sword and Shield had minor. Didn't they do minor league and major league? Like gyms?
Yeah, that was dumb too.
I thought it was a cool idea, but the way they did it was not cool. I was like,
exactly
okay, yeah. I was just like, but when they first announced it, I was like, oh, minor league. That sounds kind of cool. You work your way up to pro, awesome. And then I played it, and I was like, not at all what I thought it was gonna be. But okay.
Yeah, and then their biggest draw of Gigantamaxing was such a cop out. Like, what the fuck? You're just making your Pokemon bigger? Like, literally, there's barely any physical changes in most of the Pokemon.
Was it Trial Captains?
Yes, Trials. I think. Yep. I did not like that. Not like that. That at all. Gigantamax was a complete BS move. They should have just kept Mega Evolution.
Except for Charizard. Charizard looked dope. But as soon as I saw,
them had different looks,
as soon as I saw Meowth get super long, I was like, oh baby, no.
What is you doing?
No.
Yeah. I don't know. Being a super hardcore Pokemon fan, I just
you can be critical about
it. I mean, just do it, buy it, or wait. I'm probably gonna pre-order it. I know
the way I'm looking at it is like
Pearl.
The Pokemon games. So I've been buying digital lately. The Pokemon games I will buy physical because when you trade those suckers in, you get a good penny for it. So
yeah, but at what point? At what point are trade-ins not valuable anymore?
They're never
valuable. Are you just collecting now?
No, I traded in for another game, man. Helps me out.
Yeah, but I'm saying that might be a topic for a future show. Like, at what point will trade-ins not be a thing anymore because everything's going digital?
Trade-ins will be a thing until you're right. But I'm saying there's never been a time where you're actually gaining money from trading a game in. It's just never been a thing.
If anything, it's a way to trade.
You're not gaining,
right?
You're not supposed to gain money.
No, but then what I'm saying, you lost your value in the game.
Yeah.
Whether you even if you bought the game for a full $60, like the new game that you're getting, you would have still had more money opposed to you trading that game in.
I guess the value is in collecting it, really.
Well, no, because you get
Now,
what you get caught in the thing. Because remember, you're spending $60 to turn in the game, and
True.
then you get it back for $20 or $10, and then you've already lost the value. Because even if you would have sold it to somebody else for $50, which you possibly could have, you still would have lost half of your thing because you traded it to GameStop.
well, I think what Chris is saying
Best
is
Buy.
like trading for a different game, right? Like
Yeah, I would trade it
something
in
else.
towards
Yes,
another
but
game.
what I'm saying is you
Yeah.
still lose the money though. You still have
You
Yeah,
still
but you
lose
get
that.
a cheaper game.
no. That's the trick.
In the moment, you would get a cheaper game.
In the moment, exactly. That's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
trick. It's still a
Yeah.
trick though. You still
Which
lost
is
your money.
Which is then where my question comes in: when is trade-ins? When is that going to be a thing of the past? Right? It's just a matter of time.
Soon,
But
yeah,
anyways,
soon.
that's a different topic for a different show. Do we have any other thoughts on this Pokemon debacle?
Are you gonna be
I mean,
buying
I'm
it?
still gonna play it. I'm still gonna buy it.
Yeah, are you buying
Oh
it?
man,
Are you gonna wait?
I think the for me
have
the only
a-
reason
yeah.
I'm buying it is because it's still a completely different thing that they're trying, and I'm intrigued by
Hopefully.
that.
Hopefully.
Even I mean, regardless, even if it's Monster Hunter style or whatever, it's still going to be a Pokemon we have not seen before.
Well, I mean, it has potential right now with this news. I feel like it still has potential to be Sword and Shield.
Yeah, no, but
That's
I'm
the
saying it's
problem.
still going to be different from Sword and Shield because it's going to be an idea of Sword and Shield expanded to a bigger volume of what we're doing because now that's the main focus of like as for Sword and Shield it was kind of like, hey, let's try it.
Yeah.
Now if they're going by wildland game types, it's like, well, this is our main game, this is how our main game's going to work, so let's see how much we can stuff into it. I'm not saying it can't be as bare as what you call it was what Sword and Shield was, but if they're putting their whole effort into making Wildlands actually work, then they're probably going to put more into that style of gameplay. So I think it's still different enough for me to actually want to try it and play it and then say I hate it.
I like Alan's take on it.
Yeah.
I'll probably do the same thing because I have friends who actually the only thing we used to do is just competitive battling with each other. We use each other as training for the competitions, and like we get heated. You know, the battles get really good. But that's the other thing about this game. If it doesn't have that competitive aspect, that's a big, huge thing that they're also taking away from me, and that's like gonna make me want to play less and less because
It's no surprise for
um,
Nintendo. They hate competitive things.
yeah, but believe it or not, like there's an end game to Pokemon games for the competitive scene. Like you breed your own Pokemon, you get the right stats, IVs, EVs, all that stuff. It's just there's so much intricate details that goes
Whole nother
into
game.
making so there is totally an end game to that. So if they take that aspect out, then I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna pass as much as I hate to say it, and maybe in the future I'll pick it up, but I doubt it because I have FOMO, and if I don't play it at a moment in time when it's big, I have no need or want to play it because everything's gonna be died down around it, right? Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what else they release. They're gonna continue trickling out information, and maybe they haven't showed us some cool features yet, or what the end game is, if there's gonna be one, who the bosses are, what the gameplay loop is gonna be. Because the only thing they've shown us are Pokemon in the wild. That's pretty much it, and then noble Pokemon. So maybe they'll show us more of the world, more of a like a town or city area that's more populated, looks good, not as empty as everything we've seen so far. So who knows? My opinion can still change on that. But we will see. All right. We're going to move on to our second story. And this one's probably going to take up most of the rest of the show here. So apparently, Battlefield 2042 has had some development troubles. And this is from Tom Henderson, who's been a very trusted leaker for Battlefield and Call of Duty games in the past. So I completely trust everything he says here because all his leaks has been 100% accurate ever since they've come out. But this is from, I guess, his personal site, possibly, a Gaming Intel, never heard of it. But Tom Henderson. This is a behind-the-scenes insight into Battlefield 2042's troubled development and identity crisis. It's been several days since Battlefield 2042 beta ended, giving many players their first ever experience in the near-future conflict. Fans received the beta with mixed opinions, with many concerned as to why the beta felt so incomplete. Not only did bugs, glitches, and performance issues plague the game, but it didn't feel like a Battlefield title. Features that gave Battlefield its renowned characters were cut, with the game feeling more like a game that copied trends instead of creating them. Our first major red flag for the Battlefield 2042 beta came just a day prior to the start date. EA reported that the beta of the game was several months old. EA forums post stated, "Our open beta was branched from our full release client a few months ago and polished and improved to provide a great snapshot of the full experience." Shortly after, DICE solidified this, saying that they had fixed most of the beta's bugs for launch. Not only did we get a conflicting, polished, and improved statement from EA, but after we got the perfect justification story for the bugs, glitches, and performance issues before the beta even going live. Battlefield 2042 secrets. Over the last few months, I have been in contact with an associate at DICE who wishes to remain anonymous. This associate is one of the several people who have been feeding me information that I've regularly released. The information has included key Battlefield 2042 details, which I've publicly been sharing since May. However, I have also been regularly kept in the loop on how Battlefield 2042 development is going. On September 17th, I reported some of this information, stating that the game has been in trouble for months. After EA claimed that the build was months old, I publicly tried to defend the statement on my Twitter. I calculated the developers had roughly 110 days of development time to fix issues if their statements were true. However, the key timeline on Battlefield 2042, I keep saying 22, development issues show that the problems with the game date far more back than the beta. However, shortly after my mathematic wizardry, my DICE associate claimed that the beta build wasn't actually months old at all. The source stated that the beta build is from early to mid-September, but couldn't give an accurate date. A second source would later back up this information, who had revealed the Battlefield 2042 delay plans and new beta release dates to me in mid-September. Let's go ahead and skip down to...
Also, GG's to that associate. He's being hunted as we speak.
Right? Yeah. There you go.
We'll find you.
Blah, blah, blah. This does not mean the build itself is from this exact date. Still tells us that there were 0 changes to the build despite the delay. This seemingly matches up with what I've heard for months, that DICE is having major stability issues with builds of the game. It's one of the major reasons that up until the beta, DICE has been quiet on releasing new footage of the game, not because they don't want to, but because they can't. This was one of the major reasons why EA didn't show off Battlefield 2042 gameplay at Gamescom. I had no idea. Alleged development troubles at DICE. This is the meaty part of this article. According to both of the sources mentioned, many of the game's troubles have stemmed from management, with some management figures coming from 2017's Battlefront 2. We all know how that went. Management is allegedly not committed enough to the project, with creative being simply told to do X, Y, and Z. One of these management figures was simply described as a yes man, and apparently things have been shit since. Problems brought up to management also fall on deaf ears throughout the development process, ultimately creating issues that DICE could have solved earlier in the development process. As for the lack of creativity, management loved some of Modern Warfare's 2019's aspect that much that the studio was supposedly encouraged to create something similar. I wasn't going crazy. Unfortunately, it's unclear what exactly this means, but one of the features was the Modern Warfare operators, a feature that's unfortunately ripped away Battlefield's classic class system. With supply drops being a thing of the past for most games, the publishers need new ways to incentivize purchases, one of which is the Battle Pass and Specialist system, which has become the norm in recent years. It's still unclear which other design choices came from Call of Duty, but a ton of Call of Duty creators that have never updated or uploaded a Battlefield title before were invited to a closed beta capture event. A clear sign that management knows what role Call of Duty played in Battlefield 2042 development. Unfortunately, this choice left hardcore Battlefield creators waiting in the wings of the capture event. We're going to stop there because it's a long article. But, I mean, this sums up pretty much everything that I thought what's happening, I was really surprised when I read this because I figured, hey, EA says they're putting 6 studios behind Battlefield 6 to make this a really great game, and they even said in the past that the game is actually ahead of schedule. I don't know if you guys remember saying that, but even they said that they are on a good track to release this game on time and it be well. But apparently, behind the scenes, that bringing in 6 different developers was a way to get the put out the fire essentially. Um, so my question for you, we'll start with Alan here. Does this news surprise you at all?
You know what? It doesn't anymore. This kind of stuff does not surprise me anymore, and it's partly our fault. Like not us in particular, but it's our fault as gamers because we continue to fall for this kind of garbage. This is the kind of thing that happens on games, and then a lot of people buy it day one, and then they go, "I'm not going to play this game again," or they return it, or whatever the case may be, and they're able to get away with this because then we expect the game to then be fixed later on. And that is one of the worst things that's happening to gaming because it makes these developers start to do these things where they can make a game, have like they can even some of these games are getting paid for by these like not even early access, because I don't even consider early access to be a bad thing because you know what you're paying for, right? So like you are helping the company actually make money so that they can put it back into the game. That is what early access is for. But when you have these games that are doing these faux early accesses, which essentially I'm releasing you a full game that is playable and people spend out the $60-$70, and then later on they actually put that money towards the game, and then like a year from now the game is where it's supposed to be. That model has proven it just doesn't work because then people just stop playing your game within that year, and they usually don't come back, or the number of people who do come back is not the number of people who bought the game initially. So I just think we're part of that problem of trying to hope, oh, this game is going to be fine on day one, instead of just not buying it and then buying it a year from now when the game should have actually come out. So I think I'm not surprised by this at all. I'm not surprised that EA would come out and say, oh, like after people criticized it and said, oh, this game is feels unfinished, it's not ready, and then them go, oh well, this game needs to this is a few months back. But that the whole logic behind giving us a beta that's a few months back makes no sense. Why would you give us a game when the last chance we're going to be able to play the game before we actually decide whether we want to play it or stop our pre-order is going to be from, if you say a few months back, I would have to assume that's what, July, August? Like not even like, you know what I mean? Like within that area. Why are you making me play a game that's old, that you clearly didn't fix within the 4 months, and then you expect me to go, oh, it should be fine by, and which this is what happens, it's going to be fine in November. Yep. It's like that makes no sense to me, and it's just
to counter one of your points that you made, because I think it's important. You say that people it's our fault because we give into it and all that. I think the reason, or one of the excuses for that, is that a lot of the true Battlefield fans have been waiting a long time to get back to this modern era of the stuff that you actually wanted to play, and so we're a little bit more accepting of what they're giving us, and it is modern now finally. So I think a lot of us are almost overlooking the issues.
Yes, but but that's what I'm saying though. You've played the issues, you know the issues, and you're still going to give them a chance. That's on you.
I just canceled my pre-order.
Oh, exactly.
Show. Yeah,
that's what I mean though. Like you're not giving them a chance, but like a majority of people will continue just to be like, we make those excuses and go, oh well, it's going to be fine. Like, you know what I mean? Even though we've seen the red flag from this beta, right? If you played this beta and you saw the red flags and you're like, wow, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't seem like it's going to work for a game that's supposed to come out next month. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So if I were to purchase that knowing that, then I know what I'm getting myself into. And then what's going to happen is people are going to act like they were expecting these companies, which we have no evidence of this happening, where a company can fix a game within a month. and then they're going to complain about the game, and then they're not going to play it when it comes out. It's just we've seen it with so many games now.
I obviously played the beta, and as a Battlefield veteran, I guess you could say, because that's what they call us. I overlooked a lot of things that in my mind I was like, oh, they're gonna fix this for sure, right? Like, but the game was not in a good state, beta or not. I played way better betas than that. I played worse betas than that, but it was just not. It felt nothing like Battlefield. I was forcing myself to enjoy it. If
trying
that
to
makes
give
sense.
it excuses because of
exactly.
yeah.
I was excusing everything that I saw. I'm like, oh, the helicopter looks like it has no gravity. That's cool. Don't worry about it. They'll give it a weight or physics. They'll fix that. But I mean, just reading this article now, I was like, fuck. Like I knew it was too good to be true. I knew that even putting 6 developers on here, there's got to be something wrong with this, and it's not going to be what we expected, which really, really sucks because this seemed like the year that Battlefield could have taken the crown, and it still could because it's only against fucking Vanguard, unless Warzone does something crazy this year.
It's better than Vanguard already.
Well, I mean, it's actually going to go against Halo, which is real thing.
Halo will beat it completely.
But here's the key to Halo though, and this is why this is the difference between Halo and Battlefield, right? Because Halo is free to play, and that's the biggest issue. The thing is, your level of expectation is now set lower because you don't have to spend any money on it. As far as Battlefield, you're expecting to, and it's just something that we do. It's $60, and then we're gonna be like, well, I expect a finished game, and you're not getting a finished game. Where Halo, it's like, well, I didn't pay anything for this, so it means nothing to me to wait another month or 2 months to get back into that game. I'm not going to spend $60. And that's why when I told you, if it's up to me, what I will do is, if you're going to cheat me, then I'm going to find a way to legally cheat you. And that's get EA Play Pro. And I'm going to play it, and then I might like it. And if I don't, I can cancel my subscription, and I don't have to spend $60.
It's sad that that's a fact. And unfortunately, even with Battlefield 2042 being a paid game, they are still going to nickel and dime us with microtransactions, which is why they switched
battle
over to
passes, all that stuff.
This system, this class system, or lack thereof. So now, on top of the $70 that we'll pay, or however much it was, now you're going to be pretty much pushed every season to buy these dumbass, I'm calling it now, dumbass unicorn, fucking dumb fucking skins with stupid shit on your guns, and you won't look anything like it'll be fucking modern Fortnite at this point, right? modern Call of Duty Fortnite. And that just angers me even more. If they were to made the game multiplayer free, I think to me that also diminishes the feel of Battlefield. But it would be a slightly more excusable with what they're trying to pull here.
We've already but you can have well-detailed free-to-play games though. Like Apex is a perfect, which is this, well it's a Respawn, but my point is like Apex is a finished game. Even season 0 of Apex, which I played, felt like a complete $60 game. Like a complete $60 game that I like. But and then it got better. They fixed all the bugs and stuff. But again, the level of expectation is set lower because I'm not paying for the game.
Unfortunately, it just seems that the level of quality that DICE was known for with the previous titles is just not there anymore because of the management they brought in. Because now it seems like they're just putting out a game to put out a game, and they're trying to copy as much from Call of Duty as they can. So, Chris, what do you think about this? Does this surprise you at all? Did you play the beta? I mean, no, you did, but what are your thoughts?
I've played the flight. I got invited to play the flight, and the flight was really bad. The beta I played this past weekend was way ahead of what I played probably a month back, I think, was when the first flight came out, because the first flight was just not, I couldn't play. So I had fun. Yes, there are a lot of bugs. I think it's going to be way better than Vanguard, even at this state. That's kind of funny. I still have my pre-order. I'm going to wait because I'm able to return it on Steam after 2 hours. So we'll see what other game modes I have on day one, because the game mode that we had for the beta, I never liked anyway. So
Conquest, which is what
Conquest.
Battlefield is known for.
Yeah, well, I never liked I always played the other stuff. And then I honestly think that the Battlefield portal is what's going to be driving that game in the end. I think them giving it to the players to create their own game modes and all this other stuff, I think that's what it's going to end up being. It's just like, oh, come play all these community what's it called? Game lists and stuff like that. So, as for surprising, not really, but in this world, it's hard to say because, to be honest, I'm surprised we're not getting a news article about them on Crunch, because it sounds like it sounds like the developers, or not the developers, the workers are the ones that's just like, hey guys, we really need to like push on this, and the management doesn't want to do it. So, and usually it's the other way around. It's the management's like, you guys need to put in more hours, you clock in overtime, and that's when this is the beginning of, like, this is what it's going to start leading up to. I'm sure in a couple months we're going to get another article about them getting crunch, all those workers being on crunching in time and getting overworked. So this is the beginning steps.
The majority of people crunch. Yeah, majority of game companies get.
I know they do, but I'm just saying this is full like visual proof right here that it's like this is where it's starting. It's slowly like it's gonna head that way.
I mean, do you think there's gonna be a floodgate opening soon of all this drama that's happening behind the scenes?
We'll see. We'll see. Right? So it looks like, unfortunately, that Halo is gonna be, well, not unfortunately, because I loved Halo. I thought it was gonna have.
So wait, hold on. You honestly think that Vanguard's not going to be better than Battlefield? Because from what I've seen, I would say technically, graphically, everything in Vanguard looks way better.
Absolutely not. No.
What?
No.
Vanguard. I've only seen
Vanguard looks like complete shit. Complete shit. Yes, I don't like it at all. It they fixed they had to complain about the sun, right? That's in everybody's faces. They have you remember the glitch that we kept having in Warzone a while back where, like, if you picked up a certain gun, you had a fucking, like, weird, like,
yeah.
That's in the game already. That's in the game.
Carried over.
All right. And then the only thing that Battlefield's going to win over right now, which will probably end soon, is that there was no hacking yet. So we'll see what happens, because they already hacked Vanguard. So that already tells me that's gone.
There was hacking in Battlefield.
Was there?
Yeah, there was hacking.
I just saw people trying to get on top of the rocket.
Though, man.
So
I saw an article about hackers taking over.
But from what I played, the ground were like everything aerial was bad. The gunfights I played were fun. I guess I just didn't really pay attention to everything else, but I had fun. So
the gunplay was, to me, okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay. It seemed like they had something good there. They just need to, like, flush it out and just really.
Because people were complaining about another thing. A buddy of mine told me, or he was asking me. He's like, "Oh, I see all these articles and complaints about no recoil." I was like, I honestly, I have no idea what everybody's talking about. Because I had recoil. I liked how I was able to change my sights and everything on the go. So there's some good things there. But like I said, with Steam being I'm able to play 2 hours and I already have it pre-ordered. Then I'm just going to wait till day one, play it on day one, see my other game modes that I actually like, and then I'll return it from there. I have 2 hours to play it, so might as well.
Okay, all right. And then I guess you both. Alan hasn't bought the game. You haven't bought the game yet.
No, I told you what I'm doing. So
which actually might be what I do. Now that I've got my money back, we'll be getting my money back. I might just go the Allen route, as I'll call it.
And then the best thing about it is even if you don't like it, there is a game that you're going to be willing to play on EA Play. I mean, there's just going to be something else you can play for that month.
That's true.
It's a good route.
Here we go.
This is gonna be crazy, man.
It's up to you. It is up to you. We don't have to, if you don't want to. We can save.
Okay, we'll leave it there. We'll save that last story for later. So wow, only 2 stories. That's crazy.
If I wait, hold on, Yandy. So if I real quick question.
Yeah.
If I put Vanguard and Battlefield in front of you right now, right? You have to pick one of them. Which one are you going with?
Well, honestly, I haven't played Vanguard. I played Battlefield. But if we're going from experience and stuff, I would pick Battlefield because I just like how well, I liked how the class system was. I liked the bigger open maps. I liked the vehicles. Um, and this is just talking broadly Battlefield. Now, if you're talking specifically 2042, that is a really tough situation to be
I mean,
put
it
in
sucks to be
because
honest, because and like you guys said, it should be ready day one. But this is going to be another one of those games where in a year from now, it's going to spike up.
they,
Everybody's going to be on that game for like a month or two
yes,
because everything's going to be fixed. And
they
and you're right, Alan. That's where it should have been like that day one, or they should delay it. And honestly, I see another delay. I feel like there should be
I
another
think
delay.
it's not. Yeah, I don't think
So
it's coming out
no,
when it's supposed to. I
because
think
to be
this
honest,
is
if you
gonna be
think
too
about it,
much.
this beta came out right last week, right? And you do remember I did say like this was better than the playtest I played, but at the same
Yeah.
time, right? Next week was next Friday is when this game was supposed to come out.
yeah, that's crazy to
Yeah.
think about. So
That's-
It's supposed to come out in a week technically, and then it got delayed. So it we'll see.
I think.
I
this game
think
will take
it
another
will.
one.
I think it will. Till
And-
when? You think next year?
No, I don't think it'll do the.
I think
do that
December. It'll be December.
I don't know if it
Around
does
Halo,
December
huh?
too. Yeah, I don't know if it drops around Halo
I
because
say spring.
Yikes.
yeah, I think you would. Yeah, I would agree with that just because I feel like you have to go far enough to because I think if you delayed another into Halo and the reception that Halo's been getting, where yes, it's had its issues, but a lot have been like, and I haven't played the Battlefield, so I'm just speaking from what I'm seeing, like what people are saying on Twitter and stuff like that, like how much the reception for Halo was so like much more positive reception, and people said that they had their bugs and
It was more polished. It was way more polished. The only bugs
but
they
it
had
felt
was they broke gamers broke the game, which we do, and it was like
Yeah.
it was things that I wouldn't even think of. Like I liked the tweet the other day of a guy playing capture the flag. Right, they fixed quickly about I talked about last week about somebody grappling the flag and launching it across the field. Right, they fixed that. But another one that people were like complaining about was, which I laughed out loud about, was this guy grabs the flag, right? He has the Warthog parked. He throws a grenade under the Warthog. The Warthog blows up and he grapples the Warthog and it pulls him across the map to his base. And everybody's like, what is this? Like, what's going on? It's like, bro, as a developer, I'm not going to sit there and think like, this is what's going to happen.
and should be kept in the game because realistically, how many times are you?
Because now it changes the game. Everybody's gonna be like,
Yeah.
oh, somebody's in our base. The Warthog's right there. Blow up the Warthog. Like they're gonna get rid of it, you know. But it's like just seeing the complaints about those people, like oh my god, this game, like you know, I'm like, guys, they literally, this is why they give us the game so they can be like, oh yeah, we got to patch that. It's just kind of like in Black Ops 2 when what was it? Hex always talks about this. Whenever competitive was going out, and people still do it to this day, but when people grabbed the bomb and search and destroy and they spun around, it was to mute, like nobody could hear you punching in the numbers to defuse. So Vondahar was at a tournament and he asked, he's like, why are they spinning around? And somebody told him, and he's like, oh. And then the next weekend that patch came out and they fixed it. So it's like, they're not going to be, that's why they give it to us so they can fix these games. But that's at a point where it's like it's already finished, and like these are the small minimal things that like, oh my god, I would have never thought this was possible, and I just see it in front of my eyes. So now I got to work on it. So, but we'll see.
I mean, Halo looks completely in a league of its own when you compare it to Battlefield.
Dude, it
2042.
was the first flight that came out. I was like, this is ready to go. We're just waiting on Unfortunately, the campaign and Forge and all that stuff, they're like, oh, that has to come on later on. But it seems like that multiplayer, they put a lot of work into it. So
Well, that's good. I guess I'll try it when it comes out then, because I couldn't try the
Free.
beta. Yeah, free, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will say, closing out for the Battlefield story, there were glimpses of hope when I was playing the few matches that I did play. They were there, and I know that's probably just me being optimistic for a franchise that I loved and spent many hours on. But I hope that they are able to, really double down and fix the issues. But unfortunately, I do not think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get a broken, glitchy game at launch, similar to Battlefield 4. And I think this might be the downfall of DICE as we know it, unfortunately. This might be the beginning of the end for many of these giant game companies. Now, you had CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk. You had BioWare with Anthem. Just these big names that they were known for quality and great games, and now they're nobodies anymore. And I think, unfortunately, this is where DICE is also headed, and it sucks. And it sucks because you don't want to see that happen to your favorite developers and see them
everybody turns into this will make great for people leaving the company and making an indie team and going the indie route and making indie games, because indie games are on the climb, and those indie developers are a lot happier, humbled. It's very nice to see. So they'll all work for themselves.
If you like indie games, yeah,
they're all these are all people that have come into the. I mean, majority of them, like, oh, I want to make my own game, so they do it because they can't get into the space. But some of them went into the space, realized how corrupt and brutal it is, and decided, like, why can't I just make friends? Like, I know how to make games. Why can't me and my friends just do it ourselves and just have fun? And that's what they do. And we get very nice games. And it's kind of like whenever you eat something and they're like, oh, I made it with love compared to with something without love. Like, you know what I mean? You feel it. Whenever I play like an indie game, I connect so much more with indie games than these AAA, except for Horizon. I'll give Horizon, that's boo. But, anyway. Another time.
I connect Battlefield 2. I connect my shots to the people's heads and stuff. So, yeah, I get it. I connect. Anyways, before we are going to do a little bit of housekeeping, which I completely glossed over in the beginning. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel. We have a video up right now. It's an LPF debrief, and is the What If season finale, where you guys talk about what?
The season finale
of What If.
What is it about?
I'm not gonna say because
you
it's
can't say. Okay,
the name of the title. Okay. The title is "What If the Watcher broke his oath."
Broke his oath.
Oh yeah, broke his oath.
Okay, there you go.
And
yeah. So go watch that on our channel. Subscribe. Make sure you share. Let everybody know about us so we can get big and give out lots of more giveaways. And speaking of giveaways, we are currently holding one right now for a SteelSeries Rival 3 wireless mouse. So if you would like to win that, all you have to do is simply go to YouTube, subscribe, tell your friends, have them subscribe, and then somebody will be randomly picked. And then also the boys here will be doing a video ranking the What If episodes. Is that right?
A little short episode, yeah, to get in.
What your favorites were?
Yeah, probably not short actually, because we tried to do visions, and that did not work out.
I know, but I don't think this one will be as long just because we've already talked about it, and then we can refer to those episodes. If you want to watch our review of the episode, go back and watch it. Yeah. So as far as visions, we literally were doing.
It was an hour. Review. It was an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it had to be though, because you couldn't. There was episodes that were like 15 minutes long, and you can't do a full episode.
And maybe we'll do one with Squid Game. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe.
I'll watch it in time.
I'll probably finish it. Hopefully this week.
I'll watch it in time.
Okay.
I need to know. But all right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on the 36th episode. We will see you again next week. Make sure you follow us everywhere and tell your friends so we can, become big YouTuber, get that YouTube money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, thank you. Thank you. Before you say bye, thank you to all our sponsors. Just kidding.
Yes.
If you want to sponsor the show, hit us up. Just to let you know.
Boy.
Okay, here we go. There we go.
Hey, yeah. You never know who's watching, right?
Come on, G Fuel. Hi, G Fuel. Hi, Mom. Sponsor the show,
Mom. I had
my
first G Fuel for the first time, and it was actually really good.
I've never tried it. I want to try it, though.
I had the sour blue one that tasted like those sour straws, and it was delicious, actually. No sugar.
Or some esports organization. Bye, guys. Yeah.
We'll see you guys later.